Hi there. Well, here we are. Here we are live again, actually. And the connection seems to have worked this morning or this afternoon. What time of day is it? What day is it? So it's all seems to be working pretty well at the moment. Hopefully, the levels are different. I've been playing around with the levels, and you should all be hearing my voice a little bit more clearly now. I've started using iZotope and using the software that I normally use when I'm doing the mixing and mastering as well. So I'm more used to that sort of audio setup and the way it looks. So hopefully it's sounding a little bit better. But this is all about incremental improvements, and it doesn't always happen straight away. As we all know, sometimes you get those sort of lightning bolts of inspiration, and then sometimes you sort of find yourself just thinking, is it getting better? What does it sound any different? And eventually you suddenly notice. But that's the thing, you've got to have faith that what you're doing is improving each time. And actually, if it's not, then you're learning from it as well. Right, so what have we done today? What have we done? Let's stop all of that. The other thing I've done actually is, on one of these days, I'll get a camera. In fact, I have got one. Let me show you what I've got. Now, this has been sitting in the background for probably about 3 or 4 weeks. I can't connect it yet. I can't connect it to the computer. And this is going to be one of the video cameras that's going to be taking better photos. It's interesting. Hopefully, things have improved with the webcam. But this will give me another angle, and I'll be starting to make even more mistakes trying to get everything coordinated and working. But actually, I think that's what you've got to be, an octopus to do these sorts of things. And even with that camera, I'll just have to need 4 arms. So actually, what's the potential? What else could you use with the other 4 arms that you've got? Anyway, to the music. Yesterday, we had a piece that I called Epic Times, and actually that was very different from what we'd been going through, and it had a sort of big horn motif with strings, spiccato. Let's just listen to a little bit of that now, just to remind ourselves. There we go. So that was yesterday's. And that had an epic feel to it. Let me just get back to where I was. I just had a thought then that you wouldn't be able to sort of see what I was doing. But yes, so that had an epic feel to it. Then we had the trumpets later on, and it was sort of building. It could be even more epic. What do you think I need to do? What do you think I need to do to try and get it to sound more epic? And actually, That would be really good. What does epic mean to you? You know, to me, I could add some. I could add some toms. I could add a lot more rhythm. Let's just have a listen to something here. Just have a listen to this, because this has got toms in. And that's a sort of epic feel, hasn't it? But if we go down to yesterday's, you've got this. I've always liked a few drims in my music. I think that always gives the very an epic feel. I'll have to have a look out for my libraries for some drims. Right, okay. That's me being put off again. But so what have I done today? And it's all about using the same material and putting it in a different context and trying to give it a different feel. And actually what I did today is and bass drums. Yep, I'll do that actually. Yep, we'll see if we can get some of those. I'm not sure the drums that I've got, the bass drums that I've got, are really powerful enough, because actually that would be really, what I really want is it to go so, and I tried that a few days ago, and actually it all clipped, which is the recording that I don't think anyone's going to be hearing now, because it just went all, it went all crackly. What I've done today is I decided we'd have the same material as yesterday, which was epic, but I'd put it in, I'd get the strings doing plucking and doing pizzicato, and I'd move the tune from the horns into the cor anglais, and then I'd have a lot of the material in the winds, so it gives it a completely different feel. And then because you've also got the glockenspiel and the celeste, it sounded a little bit like a chocolate box type sound. And that what always comes to mind there is chitty chitty bang bang, and you've got that little what do you see, and it's that sound. So if you can imagine that epic sound sounding like a little musical box, what's it going to sound like? Let's have a look. So what do we think of that? I quite like the sound or the atmosphere that creates. It's very different from the epic. I think every tune's got all sorts of potential, and one of these months it would be interesting to come up with a melody at the beginning of the month, and then just try, and if I could come up with 30. February might be a good month, it might make it easier, but if I could think of 31 different styles of music, different moods, and then try and make the music sound, try and make it sound like those moods. Mind you, can we come up with 30 moods? 30 moods or 30 styles. What would be really interesting, would do something like heavy rock. You could do a jazz one, you could do, and those would, the sort of jazz would feel quite natural to me. Heavy rock would be it would be a bit of a push, but actually it'd be really good fun. You can see I've had my hair cut, so actually what I'd need to do is perhaps put a wig on, or we could do it in a few years' time when the hair's grown back. But no, we can't do that. But actually, it'd be a good test, wouldn't it, to see if I can do. Back in 2013, I was doing a lot of. It wasn't hip hop and it wasn't trip hop. It was glitch. glitch, but it was using lots of electronics and wobble bass. And I can't for the life of me. I did this a couple of weeks ago, and I then remembered what it was, and of course forget when you're online and you need to remember, you forget. But it was that very techno EDM type style, and that was good fun. In fact, I did a piece called it was pod racing, and that had some real sort of which actually got lots of plays, which was good. But and I think it was probably because it was pod racing and people associated it with Star Wars. But it sounded nothing like Star Wars, but it sounded. I'll see if I can find that when I've got all my pieces. And actually, let's just come down here so you can see I've only at the moment still got March, April, and May, and as we get to the bottom here, we've only, what's the 24th today, we've only got about 6 more days until the end of this month, and then it's all back to square one. And what are we going to do for June? What explorations are we going to have then? Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think you could, if you think of when we went into lockdown round about the 24th of March. You could actually compile something with all of these pieces. So what's that? That's 36, about 60 odd pieces. That's nearly an hour's worth of music there. You could compile that and put it together and call it a sort of COVID symphony, but sort of mix it and mash it all around, and it'd be interesting to see what came out. And I know I've got a few favourites in there, but it'd be quite good to sort of put it out to the viewers and see what numbers they came out with. We could almost do it in the style of a bingo, where you could call out numbers, we'd play it, and all sorts of little opportunities there. But so here we are. We're coming up to the end of May. We've got one more day in this key before we move on to another key, and perhaps what we'll do towards the end of the month is we'll add some more drums, and we'll add some more sort of bass power and see what we can do. One of the things that I've always come a cropper with when I've added more power is it's all gone very quiet. And actually, let's see if we can hear it, because you can hear it here. If you think that yesterday's piece, which was the epic one, sounds like this. That's a full orchestra. Hopefully I'd love it to have sort of 4 trombones. Trumpets haven't come in yet, but you'd have 6 horns playing that tune out. Not fully interesting. If I move myself up here, you can see the WAV form, and if you look towards that side, you can see the WAV form's much bigger, so it's louder there. Actually, let's see if we can hear that. There is a way. If I click warp, I should be able to come in here. And then this. Which one sounds louder? So that's something. That should be good. It'll make me learn about that. So towards the end of the month, we'll see how epic we can get, and and just see where it takes us tomorrow. Anyway, I'll call that a day for today. Thanks for listening, and hopefully very soon we'll see this in use, and you'll see me pressing the wrong buttons and looking in the wrong direction as well, which should be more fun. But you see, one of the things that's amazing about watching all these videos that people are doing is how accomplished people are with different camera angles, and it's things that we just don't. I just didn't know anything about, but I'm gradually, I wouldn't say I know about it, but I'm gradually learning about it. Things like, B-roll cameras. That's when you've got 2 cameras going at the same time, and you can jump between the 2 and give different different angles, and it makes it more interesting instead of what these are called a talking heads cameras or videos. And I suppose what I can do with this is make it look a little bit more interesting by switching views. And I've got those 3 set up. Be quite good, wouldn't it, when I've got another camera set up, and you can do that. What I really want to do is have this one set up and have another one set up for the instruments, and then you can actually change between the 2. But then it's going to get more and more complicated, I can see. Anyway, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you. I'll bring myself down there, and we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see where this music takes us tomorrow. And take care. See you soon.